Good morning, people. And today we spoke to Emily B, a great online coach. We had an amazing chat. We spoke about online coaching. We spoke about competition prep. We spoke about anabolics and the thoughts and processes around why we may or may not take anabolics, and some of the challenges that some of our clients have when it comes to fat loss, building muscle, going through different phases of their physique development. So have a watch. Make sure you like, subscribe, comments, and if you want me to talk about any other topics in the future, make sure you drop them in the comments. Enjoy. Cool. Right, mate. So, welcome. Episode 2 of my podcast. It's been a while since I've done one. I think the last time I did one was nearly a year and a half ago now, and things have just been mental. So you're the first one of the new era.
I feel honoured.
Absolutely.
I do.
So, ultimately, mate, tell everyone a bit about you. You're a PT, online coach, and a physique competitor. So, fire away. Tell us a bit about you.
So I'm Emily. I am a personal trainer / online coach based around Manchester. I'm a bikini competitor. I've done one season, currently in my off season to grow a big bum, basically.
And
yeah.
When did you last compete? It was the same year as me, wasn't it?
August 2022 was my last show.
Year after then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And which federations did you compete in?
So I did, my first show was the 3rd of July, which was Pure Elite. And then I did UKDFBA in August.
And they were the first time you've ever competed?
First time I've ever done it, yeah. Done it.
How did you find it?
I loved it, I absolutely loved it. I found where I belonged. I fitted into this group of people that were just as weird and wonderful as me, and it was great. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I got the bug for it when I got off the Pure Elite stage. I was like, I want to do another show. I want to do another show. And that's when UKDFBA came about. My boyfriend competed on the same show. That was his first show.
Yeah. Oh, so, nice.
That was
and
cute.
you got your was it your pro card in Pure Elite?
Or yeah, I got my pro card. Yeah, I got my pro card at Pure Elite.
So that's gonna help.
That was a moment. I was like, oh wow, because I was happy with whatever I got. I was happy with it, but the fact that I got a pro card, I was like, oh, I did it. I actually did it.
So what was your kind of reason for wanting to do it then? So you'd never done it before, and everyone, I needed my reason when I competed, but what made you want to do it in the first place?
I just needed something to work towards, I think. Something different, something mentally challenging. I thrive under very mentally challenging situations. So before I did bodybuilding, I boxed before COVID. I think I did seven fights. About 7 fights. And then COVID happened, and it was just like, and I didn't want to go back to boxing. I thought about CrossFit. I thought about powerlifting. I thought, it just doesn't appeal to me. And my confidence was very, very low. My eating habits were shocking because of things that happened through COVID. And I just thought, I'm going to give it a go, see how it feels. I'm going to put myself through a cut, a bulk, before I hire a coach, see how I handle it mentally. And I did all right. And then I hired a coach, and she put me on a bulk, and I cried into so much food. It's unbelievable. But that's the reason why I did it, was to mentally challenge myself and break boundaries I've never, ever managed to break before in regards to my eating and stuff.
You know what? That was exactly the same reason why I competed, is I needed that big goal that I'd never thought I'd ever be able to achieve, just to break through that, just kind of prove to myself that I could do it. And I wasn't one of these people that would never have a 6-pack, and I need that big thing. And I think for me, the biggest driver was I stuck everything on social media. Like, I committed by just telling everyone across the world that I was going to do this thing. What, who did you
Yeah.
say, who did you tell that you was going to do it? Was it like a big announcement? Did you keep it to yourself?
I told everybody and I regret doing that.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, I think when it comes to competing next year, I will be telling people that I am in prep, but I will not be announcing what shows I'm doing.
Well,
The
why's that?
amount of pressure that I felt from social media, following people on social media, then comparing yourself to people and just talking to other people as well. It really got to me mentally. I was like, I'm just not willing to put myself in that situation again. I want to go in head on, not looking at anybody else, not being asked about who's on that stage. I'm there for me and nobody else. So that's my
Yeah.
thought. Like, I do regret putting it all over Instagram. I'm competing this show, this show, this show, and literally updating it every single week.
Mm,
The amount of pressure was just, there probably wasn't even that much pressure. I was probably putting more pressure on myself
mm.
because I made it such a big thing. So I'm not going to do that this time.
You think, because, yeah, I totally get what, because I was in exactly the same boat. I was looking at
Yeah,
people that had perhaps competed and won shows, and I was looking at them and thinking, why aren't I at that level right now? Even though it was
yeah,
my first show and I had no business even thinking about, winning a show or
yeah.
anything like that. So yeah, I get it. But do you think because it was your first time, it actually got you to stage? Do you think you would have got to stage and done the best you could if you hadn't have put that pressure on yourself?
That's a good question, actually. I've never actually thought about that.
Because it's different this time, isn't
Ooh,
it? You've done it. You know
yeah,
how
I've
to
done
do
it
it.
now.
So maybe the pressure's, I don't know.
Mm, I don't know. Because Pure Elite's very different, isn't it? It's very sassy. It's fitness modeling. That
Mm,
was way out of my comfort zone anyway. I felt a lot of pressure there just to be sassy. Mm, that was a good question. I don't know. That was a good question.
mm. Because for me,
Oh,
I wouldn't have got to stage. No way. I mean,
probably not actually. Yeah, probably not.
I think that's a good thing to like,
Mm,
especially for like my clients, your clients,
yeah.
setting that goal and kind of owning that goal. I think you've got to share things sometimes because
Mm,
unless you've got that special mentality where you can just do it and, you know, follow through
mm,
without any external input. I just think people do fail quite easily when they need to share it. But
yeah. I've actually never thought about that before. So that's actually a really good question. It's never crossed my mind before.
so I guess I mean, this
Mm,
time round, I'm not prepping for a show, but I'm prepping and doing my bet. I'm probably prepping way more consistently for a photo shoot than I did for my shows. Um,
mm,
and it is a lot easier this time around just because I know what I can achieve and then go past it,
yeah.
if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I'm in a cut at the minute. I'm in a mini cut. I'm 2 weeks in.
Mm,
And I found the first 2 weeks of the cut quite hard because we've gone quite aggressive and the hunger's just been, oh. But now that I'm like getting used to it, I'm like, okay, lines are starting to come in now. And I'm
mm,
like, I can do this. I can do this within 8 weeks. I know I'm going to look better in 8 weeks than I did a year ago. And like, it
yeah.
kind of drives you to do better, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It's almost like, I mean, I guess it's two bits. Like your body knows it can almost remember how to get in shape because you've already been there, right? But
Yeah.
I think like the mental side, like managing the hunger, managing your nutrition, it's it's easier when you've already done it and you can always
Yeah.
add on to it, can't you?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
100%.
my nutrition when I
100%.
was prepping was horrendous. Even when I was prepping, it was awful because I prepped myself. I had no coach.
Oh,
So And in theory, no, in theory, I should have known what I was doing because
Yeah,
I coach all my
the
clients.
coaches. Yeah,
Yeah, but when it came to me, I was like, oh no, that doesn't apply to you. You know,
yeah.
of course you can cut your carbs to less than 100, and you're only, you're still 3 months away. You know, so it
It's
was,
totally different when it comes down to yourself, isn't it?
yeah,
Because you see yourself differently to what others see you. So coaching yourself is just for me. I could never, ever, ever coach myself
yeah,
for that
100% the best
reason.
investment I ever made was working with Josh. You know,
Yeah.
and I attribute most of my like physique now to working with another coach.
Yeah, same here with my coach Nikita. I started working with Nikita January last year, and she's just a magician. Like
Mm,
I wouldn't be where I am now without Nick. In regards not just to the way my physique looks, but my nutrition, my mindset, everything. Like we've done so much work together. She's cool.
yeah.
She's amazing.
So you did your competition, and I think most people have listened to many people talk about the prep and
Hmm.
the lead up and how to manage hunger and all the rest of it. But how did you find that mindset shift when you finished the shows and you finished your preps and you went into that recovery phase?
The reverse that I found it quite all right at first. So I came out of prep in late end of August. I'd say it probably started to affect me probably around about November, December, because my boyfriend was still in prep as well.
Mm,
And he was very depleted. He was like right at the end, he'd been dieting for so long. So then obviously his weight was coming down and mine was coming up. And there was a point where our weight was the exact same. And that was like, oh my God, that like
yeah,
it was mad. And then so I only started really struggling when the scale weight started to creep back up. So I've always been a small person, 5'9" and small. Um, yeah, it was when that definitely when the weight started to creep up that I started to be like, oh no,
yeah.
oh
And
no, like
was you doing it in a structured way? Was you still
yes,
tracking and increasing
still,
your
yeah,
food?
still tracking, still increasing food. Obviously, we wanted so you don't want to be sitting at that. I think I was like 55 kilogram or something like that on stage. 5'9", you don't want to be 55 kilogram. It's not
Grim.
healthy and grim. Yeah, a little bit grim. So it was uncomfortable for me to get. As soon as that 60 kilogram was on the scale, I was like, oh, just mentality from past habits was when I started to struggle.
Yeah. I mean, I had zero control. I had this grand scheme in my head. I was going to slowly reverse out. And for the first month, I did. I
Mm,
systematically increased my calories, and my scale weight was actually still staying, even though I'd increased my calories by like 30%, albeit I was eating next to fuck all anyway.
mm,
Um, but I hit a point and I just lost it. I just stopped tracking. I was
mm,
binging a lot and I really gained a lot of body fat very
yeah,
quickly. I think I
yeah.
lost my abs within probably 6 weeks, completely gone.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
and I was kind of officially out of shape. But I think in my head I was like, oh, it's fine because you're now massing. I was kind of justifying it in my head a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, I've known quite a few people to do that. It's common, isn't it? I think you
Yeah,
either go one way or the other,
yeah.
sort of thing. Like I binging was always my problem before bodybuilding. I used to binge eat.
Mm,
Um like and chocolate and stuff. I used to sit there and eat and eat and eat chocolate. And through prep, I didn't miss it. So when I came out of prep and you could have all these treats, I was like, okay, this is nice, but I actually don't want it. I actually don't want it.
mm,
So it kind of did me a favor, really.
yeah, yeah.
It stopped me from the binging because I didn't want it.
Yeah, I am the opposite. I absolutely wanted it, every single little bit of it. I wanted the booze, I wanted the chocolate, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm inherently that fat kid that just loves everything, you know. So he's kind of, you know, that's why I continually put these like little things to work towards because I actually like being in a prep because it gives me that reason to control myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
100%.
and hopefully this time round, well, with Josh, you know, he's not going to let me go off the rails anyway.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know about you, but you know, the time that my business really took off, as in Apex, was when I was in better shape. You know,
Yes. Yes. My engagement on social media is so much better in regards to like TikTok and Instagram when I'm lean.
yeah,
Now, people probably look at me, oh, you're not even that fluffy. But for me as an individual, I'm fluffy. And right when I'm lean, I am lean. Like, so my engagement was very high. And now that I've got, a little more body fat, I'm wearing a few more clothes, my engagement. But then as soon as I put my prep client on because she's top tier, the engagement,
yeah, yeah. It's a fickle
mad,
thing, isn't it?
mad.
You know, I
Yeah.
always said I would never be one of these coaches that relied on a physique, and I don't because I mean you've seen enough of my TikTok and all the rest of it. Like, you know, a lot of my
Mm,
stuff is content based and information based, but you're right. As soon as you put a photo of you with abs,
mm-hmm.
people want to work with you for some reason,
Yeah.
you know?
It's not even, I put a video on TikTok the other day where I did a posing I was in the, I was just in underwear anyway. And I put it on and the engagement on it I had was sky high. Now, if I was to do the exact same video in leggings and a sports bra, the engagement would be low.
Yeah.
It's mad,
Yeah.
mad.
I'm gonna do a series on TikTok where you know when women they'll start at the camera and they've got the tits in the camera and then they move back like they're moving away from the oh I didn't do that on purpose with my tits in the camera. I'm gonna do all those videos but as a guy and I'm gonna see if
Oh
they have
my
the same
God,
effect.
that'd be so funny.
I can't
My
wait to do
cat's
it.
just joined. My cat's just joined us. Do you want to see
Amazing.
her?
So
Oh,
you went through your reverse diet. So you prep
yeah.
Emily, absolutely smashing it. You know, you've put on loads of tissue. But what about Coach Emily? What do you think are some of your challenges? Because you do both, right? You do one-to-one, you do online. What are some of the challenges that
Yes.
you find with your clients that's like a regular occurrence that you spend most of your time talking about?
Food,
Hmm.
nutrition. A lot of people struggle with nutrition. The training is spot on. It all comes down to their nutrition and hitting like protein goal or just not eating enough.
Yeah.
I've got a client. She's absolutely. I've been working with her now, coming up to a year. She's absolutely smashed it. Completely different person to who she was a year ago, and she's only just now managing to get her nutrition to a T
Hmm. Yeah.
sort of thing. And it's just literally about just drilling it in. Come on, you can do it. It's hard. I know, I get it. You've just got to break a mental boundary. You've got to push past the boundary that's been saying to you this time that this is too much food when really it's not. Blah blah blah. And yeah, it's a proud moment. But definitely nutrition, yeah.
Yeah, I had a message off a client the other day, and it was, I've been working with her for about 2 months now, and she started literally eating fuck all. And
Mm-hmm.
she, first 2 weeks, she really struggled. But I got this message, and it said, absolutely smashed it today, and massive win. I feel hungry, and I'm eating more than I've ever eaten in my life. I was like, that's probably the best thing I could
Yeah,
have heard because you're not eating a huge amount of food. You're just eating
yeah,
a normal amount of food now.
yeah. I think when people hear, oh, I'm going to put you in maintenance, and your maintenance is 2,300. Oh, I can't eat that. No, 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 that's too many calories. No, 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 no. Oh my gosh, I'm not. And I sit there and I think that's not that many calories at all. It's not that much food when you put it in hindsight,
Yeah.
and the sheer panic on people's faces when you say 2,300. Oh, no, 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 can't do that.
Mm.
Yeah. I've
I
1,700 is the most I could eat. I'm like, that's, but why?
yeah. I
So,
always
yeah.
like hearing what calories people are on. Like I'm one of these people that just has one of the world's worst metabolisms. So my maintenance is actually probably only about I'm 96 kilos at the minute. I train 7 days a week, and my
Yeah.
maintenance is probably 2,600 calories. I've got female clients that eat more than me and lose more weight than me. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things where I just hate my life.
I'm one of them. I've got a very fast metabolism. I was eating like 3,000 calories in my like before my cut. And
Hate you.
I'd only just hit 70 kilogram the week my cut was starting. Mad.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
great.
Fantastic. Yeah. And so when you are working with these people and they've got the issues with the nutrition, with like protein, that's something that I find with my clients is they're chronically under eating, like maybe 100 grams
Yeah.
of protein. What kind of things
hmm
do you do with them to say, okay, we really do need to
I
increase your protein. How do you get them to buy into it?
yeah, I suggest like meals that they can eat to get the protein in. So I'm like for your breakfast, for example, guys, you can have what's called like that wheat bits cheesecake. Do you know what I mean? You know what I
Mm.
mean? That's there's protein in that. And I say your chicken, like you have 150 grams of chicken. That's like X amount of protein, you've already there, you've got 70, 80 grams of protein in one day. So if your goal's only 120, you've got 40 grams left. A bit of mince, 120 grams of mince, it's what, 20, is it like 25 grams of protein, something like
Mhm.
that. But by the end of the day, you've only got 15 grams of protein. A protein shake, which is what, 20 grams, whatever.
Yeah.
And when you sit there and they're like, is that how you get yours in? I'm like, yes, like
Yeah.
it's that easy. And I just say to them, like, you don't need to overcomplicate it either. I think a lot of people overcomplicate it.
Yeah. As well as that, though, as well as overcomplicating it, I think one, people feel like they have to have a like a well-designed meal, like they have to cook a
Mm-hmm.
lasagna, they have to cook a this. I say no, just
Mm-hmm.
break it down. Just put a
Mm-hmm.
bit of meat on your plate, a bit of carb on your plate, and a bit of veg. That's as simple as it needs to be.
Yeah,
But
literally.
one thing that I've noticed a lot with some new clients is there's a lot of protein foods on the market at the minute, like protein bread, protein bagels, um,
Yeah.
protein cereal. And so,
Yeah.
oh, it's okay. I had a protein bagel for breakfast. I was like, yeah, but it's got
Yeah.
6 grams of protein.
Yeah. I was in Aldi the other day with a client, my prep client, and um we were in Aldi the other day and I put granola in a plan and was looking at granola. So you had your normal granola and then you had your protein granola. So then she was like, "Oh, but what about this one, protein or granola?" I said, "But why?" "Oh, wait, it's actually." I was like, "Give me the packet and let me just show you the difference." There was literally 3 grams extra protein in this protein granola, and there was less carbs in it as well per 100 grams. So I
Yeah.
pointed this out to her. I said, "Oh, and it was higher. I think it was higher in fat as well." I pointed all this out to her. I said, "Do you think that's worth it compared to this one that's a pound cheaper?" I said, "Because we're not using granola for a protein goal. We're
Mm.
using granola to hit your carb goal, like." And she was like, "Oh yeah." She was like, "Oh, it's all just a bit of a gimmick, isn't it?" I'm like, "Yeah, like you're just
Mm.
paying an extra pound for an extra 2 grams of protein that you can get elsewhere, like in chicken."
Yeah. Yeah. It's mental. And I think, that's why people, especially when there's like conscientious coaches out there that want to actually educate their clients and they don't just
hmm
give them the fads or give them the thing that's easy and a quick fix. I think as long as there's more of that out there, it's only going to get better.
but
100%.
we're always going to be struggling against the mainstream, I think,
100%.
you know?
I hate mainstream, like these workouts that you see, oh, dumbbell workouts for shy girls or beginners only workouts and this, that, and the other dumbbell. And it's like, okay, these are all well and good, but you're not actually going to make much progress being a
Yeah,
dumbbell only shy girl.
yeah. Niches, right?
I feel bitchy saying that, but
Well, again,
true.
you've seen enough of my TikTok. I mean, ultimately, mate, it all comes down to common sense, doesn't it? And there's these people out
Yeah,
there that want to portray themselves as the experts in this particular. And I see a lot of these ADHD coaches at the minute. I don't know if you see a lot of them. People are coaches just for people with ADHD. I'm like, I mean, how specific can we niche down the industry if we're gonna?
yeah. I've got ADHD, yeah, and I don't take any notice of these people that just come out of ADHD. I'm an ADHD coach and this and this and this and this. And I'm like, you're actually chatting shit because you're chatting shit.
Yeah, yeah. So industry, we touched on that. What's
Mm.
the thing in the last year that you think has got better in the industry, and what's the thing that you think has got potentially worse in the industry?
I think more people are more aware of like these TikTok, Instagram workouts are shit. Like, I think, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't see as many of it now. And it just gives me the ick. Every time I see it, I'm like, try this booty band. That Chloe Ting, I think she's dying out a bit now, which I'm
Yeah, yeah,
so thankful for.
yeah,
So thankful for. I think I wish there was more talk of PED use. Now I know you're honest with it, but as a whole,
yeah.
the effects of PEDs, if you're on it, why, what, like you don't have to specify what you take and what dose and stuff, but just all around honesty. Like it's so clear that some people are on it and like, no, I've never taken a thing in my life.
Mm,
Like I have nothing against PEDs. I just think like there's not enough information regards like side effects either.
yeah,
No,
and
no one talks about it. There was, I think you might know her, Emily Jane.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So she put it on her stories the other day on Instagram, the side effects of something that she was on, and she was so honest about it, and it was like it was so nice to hear someone talk about the side effects that they're having on this certain anabolic and why they decided to come off it as
Hmm.
well. Like it, there needs to be more, especially as like an athlete, and like it's something that's always at the back of your mind. You know, staying at it, or stay not. And if you don't know what them effects are because you don't hear it enough from other people, or like as myself as a female, it makes you a bit more.
Yeah, 100%. And well, you always said I'm open about everything because I think one, my transformation this year, people are going to look at that and think, well, probably not natural. And
Mm-hmm,
yeah, I've been using anabolics since March. They're going to have a contributing factor. They work. There's no two ways about it.
mm-hmm.
Um, you still got to work hard. You still got to work on your nutrition. And I think the biggest thing is I actually think there is a lot more conversation about it now. People like Josh, my coach. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people, TM Cycles. There's a lot of people that are openly discussing steroid use, and they are quite transparent with it as well. Those guys, they definitely
Mm.
speak about the dark side. And
Yeah, I just don't hear much about it from females, the
yeah,
effects it has on females. Like
mm,
we know what taking anabolics has an effect on, but every female's different. But it'd
mm.
be nice to hear from more
And I think that's the
more
next
about
step.
it.
I think that's the
Yeah.
next step, and that'll be what comes out in the next year or so.
Mm.
Because, we've had conversations before, and a lot, a much bigger proportion than what people think of female athletes are, first off, they'll start taking fat loss agents like clenbuterol.
Mm-hmm.
Most female athletes that go to a very high level will take clenbuterol. No two
Yeah.
ways about it. And
Yeah.
a very high proportion of female athletes that are competing and they're earning money will absolutely be on anabolic steroids.
Mm-hmm.
But it affects them in such a different way, it's not as obvious
Mm-hmm.
until you get to like those higher levels, you know, the pro cards of bodybuilding and physique.
Mm-hmm. But if done right though as well, like you're not going to get the bad side effects. I know people who have had, cycles and stuff, and you can't necessarily tell because they've got no side effects.
Yeah.
So it can be done. It can be done right, but they're open about it as well, though.
Yeah. There's obviously a right way, there's a wrong way. And I've got
Yeah,
quite a lot of clients that have just had the advice off the bro in the gym. And so, yeah, just do this, do that on your first cycle. And you think,
yeah.
what is, you know, I spent 3 years researching and I've invested in courses,
Mm-hmm.
I've invested in learning. The reason why I started working with a coach is because I wanted someone to make sure I was staying as healthy
Mm-hmm.
as possible during that time. And
Yeah.
you know,
I'm constantly asking my coach questions about it all the time, and I'm like, so if this and this and this, blah blah blah, like, because I'm just so interested in it. I'm just like,
it's
I
interesting, all
follow
right.
it. I follow it. What's her name? I think Dorian Bates on
Don't you?
Instagram. Dorian Bates. Is that how you say her name? I don't know. She's Australian anyway.
Okay.
And she talks a lot about PED use in females, and it is so interesting.
Mm.
So interesting. Like anabolics, I'm non-anabolics.
I would
Sit
definitely
there scrolling
recommend
like this.
if you're interested in things like that, and anyone else that watches this, I've just paid into the J3 University. So it's
Mm,
run by one of the leading experts in the industry. Prep coach is also a pro bodybuilder, John Jewett,
mm.
seen as the
Yeah,
gold standard. It's a very expensive course, but he goes through every aspect of the pharmacology, the usage, the side
yeah,
effects, how to manage that, male and female. So, the best advice I can give anyone is invest in your education around it, not just
yeah.
Tim the
Go
bro
and
dude,
talk it. Yeah,
you know.
yeah. I just I find it very interesting. I do.
Mm. It's
Very interesting.
it's opened my eyes, and touch wood.
Mm,
I've had no, but then I've had no side effects, but I'm very, very small dosages. I'm not
mm.
going for a pro card, so I'm not pushing those boundaries.
Yeah, it scares me. Like going on, it does.
I
It
think
does.
as a female, there's more changes that would be negative. For a male, if
Hmm.
you're taking testosterone, well, we have testosterone in our body anyway, a decent amount of it.
Yeah,
So if you're just topping that up, unless you go crazy, the side
it's
effects
not.
are going to be minimal. With a woman, you're not meant to have that much, so you're going to have way
Hmm.
more changes.
Yeah, and I think that's what scares me a bit. Like, that's why I'm still a natural.
Yeah, definitely just milk it for as
Yeah,
much as you can. Um,
I need my
I,
bloods doing though. To be fair, so that'll be interesting what they come back as. I kind of know already because
mm,
I can feel it. I can feel I am absolutely fucked.
no, but yeah, definitely work with
Yeah.
somebody that is respected in the industry if you ever
Hmm.
consider doing something like that.
That's what I mean.
You know. So
That's
mate,
for a long
um,
time.
we're gonna start wrapping it up, but what I like to finish with is just tell us a little bit about how people want to get in touch with you if they want to work with so if someone's interested in being prepped, if someone wants to work with a female coach, how do they get in touch with you, and what kind of availability do you have?
So just message me on Instagram, which is at Emily B_coaching. Just give me a DM. Sorry, what was the last bit of the question?
And are you taking
Like,
on clients at the minute?
yes, I'm not taking on one-to-ones at the minute, just because I'm fully booked there. It's minimal hours due to be single mum life. But I am taking on online clients, which I actually thoroughly enjoy. I love online coaching. Absolutely love it. I
Cool.
coach men and women. I love coaching men. I absolutely love coaching men. It's just different. And like I love coaching women, obviously, but coaching men and women is totally different.
Cool.
I love
Well,
it.
I will link all your socials in the description. So if anyone wants to get in touch, they
Oh, my
can.
TikTok's the same as well, I
TikTok's
think.
the same.
Yeah, my
Well,
TikTok's the
all be
same.
in the description. It's been lovely chatting to you,
And you?
and I'll
Thank
speak
you
to
for
you
having me
soon.
on. You shall indeed.
See you in a bit.
So that was an amazing chat with an amazing online coach and physique competitor. As always, make sure you like, subscribe and comment. Let me know what you want me to talk about in the future. And if you're interested in online coaching, make sure you follow me on social media so you can check out all my amazing clients' progress photos, see if you want to work with me, and also I'm 2 weeks out from my photo shoot, so there's some decent photos of me on there too. Speak to you soon.